Hello everybody. Today I'm going to talk about this particular hub, which is the Goldix R240SL. It's a straight pull, 24-hole center lock, in this case with a through axle combination, 12 millimeter, 142 millimeter wide axle configuration. And I have built a wheel with this before, and I'm quite a fan of it. And I'm going to tell the story what I've done with it, because I think it's quite interesting to see what's going on inside of the hub, and why it's a good option to actually use it. They come fairly cheap, around about 100 euros, and I think it's a very good option compared to, let's say, DD Swiss 240s, which are way more expensive. You can buy about three of these. Talking about this hub, I mean front and rear hub. This is obviously the rear and with a Hyperglide free hub body. It's also available in all the other configurations that you might find for SRAM and Campac. I don't know, Campac. Anyway, the usual. It's quite light. This is why I chose it. It appeared all over my Aliexpress, and I thought, let's talk about it, because I found something out about it. Some things that annoyed me, some things I quite like, and I was kind of frustrated. I could not find any videos about this, and I had to learn all of this by myself. So let's have a look inside. It's a typical DD Swiss type hub. So if you remove the end caps, which is fairly easy, they come with O-rings inside, which is very nice, because they, especially on the drive side, this O-ring here hooks into this little gap in here, which locks it in place. So it, sorry, this wasn't right. So it does not just fall off, which I've had happen before on a 350 hub from DD Swiss. So you can just simply take this off, and then the free hub body pulls off pretty easily. Now what you will see, like with DD Swiss hubs, you might notice that the spring, which pushes, which is there to push the ratchets against each other, are kind of retained by this particular ring. I can show you the way it's built. Let's have a look. This is interesting because this is different to the other hubs that I've seen. I've had a Cruiser 350, I think it was a Cruiser 350 hub that I had before, and that one did not have that. The 350 hub neither. So basically what happens is that once you remove the free hub body, you will see that these things might just jump in your face and just fall off. So let's have a look at this. Then you can see that the ratchets are coming out. So these are stuck together by, obviously, by the grease that's inside. There's a little bit of grease inside. It doesn't look like it's the typical DD Swiss kind of special grease, I think it's named. And so it's different. On this end here, there's no gap that will lock in place with the end cap. But it's not necessary, since there's no spring in there, which will push it out. So I think that's a very neat thing to do. Now you can see that these are the typical DD Swiss type ratchets, which are now everywhere. Cruiser, well, DD Swiss obviously, Goldix, and many other manufacturers are kind of copying these. And I want to have a look at these, and I want to compare it, because this design of this hub has changed. Let me wipe my greasy fingers off. Has changed. For instance, this spring is now, looks like it's made of simple sheet metal. Doesn't mean it's bad or anything, but it's different to the spring that I've seen in the other hub. And I'll tell you all about the other hub in a little bit. Let's line this stuff up. So this is the way it is mounted, top to bottom. Then there goes the spring, goes in here, and here goes the free hub body, and this is then retained. Oh, you can see that, right? Okay, let's do it sideways. Ratchet, the spring. This is the little tube that is there to maintain a proper preload. So this engages inside, when you put it inside the free hub body, engages with the inner race, this inner race here of the bearing. Inside here is another tube which would then engage on the other side with the inner race of the bearing, and so the other one, this one, well, then you can see it has a little it's a little higher here on the inside of this end cap, and this will then fit exactly on top of the inner race of the bearing, and that way the preload, the pressure that goes from either if it's a quick release or through axle, through here all the way to here, through this tube all the way into this bearing over the axle to the inner race of the bearing here. It's really important that it is this way, and this is this way for every DT Swiss style hub. Well, it's basically for any hub, because otherwise you would crush the bearings once you tighten, let's say, a quick release, which have very high pressure, and it would crush the bearing. Now, looking at this, what is an interesting thing? So this is an interesting detail. Now, usually on the old version of this hub, which looks from the outside exactly the same, you would not have this this ring sitting on this little tube here to keep the spring in place, and on top of that, keep the spring from touching the bearing, which I assume is not a very good thing once this thing is rotating, which is what usually happens with a free hub. So this is a nice detail which I haven't seen on the other DT Swiss hubs. Also, this is kind of a, there's a little slot in there, so you could see when I pulled it off, it took me quite a little bit of pressure, of force, to pull it off, because it is quite tight. It's tight around the axle, around this part. You can see when I want to push it on, it takes a little bit of force. So that's a neat little detail on this thing, to keep it from the spring pushing off, jumping away, so to say. So now I'm gonna set this aside, and then we're going to talk about the Goldix R240SL hub that I've used on the wheel that I've built. So the only way that I can show you the old version that I've ordered a while back of this hub is already mounted on a wheel, and obviously I did not want to change that, unlace the wheel so that I can make a YouTube video of it. This is the same construction here. There's an end cap. This in this case is a quick release, and there again is this groove in here, which allows the O-ring, which is in here, to lock in with that groove. And I left that running. All right, so now I've removed the end cap. I'm gonna put it aside somewhere where I don't mix it up with all the other pieces here, and then you can just simply pull this off. This goes off pretty easy. And now this exactly happened what I told you about. The spring just shoots out, and you can see that the free hub does not have any protection from the spring, which will potentially rub, and actually, as you can see, it fits exactly on the seal of the bearing, which I don't like. And so I think the new version is an improvement in the design in that case. So let's put this aside. Then again, we have the ratchet. It just fell out. Just gonna put this on something. I don't know a name for my channel yet. I think I'm gonna call it Kitchen Bicycle Repair or something like that, whatever. And now you can see the preload tube, which is a solid piece of aluminum, which is a very nice slip fit here. This seems all very, very well done. And this, yeah, this is a different kind of design. We're gonna put this side by side, and then if I get the chance, I will also show you the inner workings of the DT Swiss 350 hub, which is very similar to this one, but I think there's a nylon washer in here to protect the bearing. That makes it a little bit different. Let's have a look. So these are all the parts which are inside the old one, which is very easily distinguishable from all the dirt, which brings me to another topic, which is the weather sealing. So I've seen hubs where there is a more like a labyrinth seal that is inside, sorry, wrong side, that is inside here, and which is basically on top. Here you have a like a flange which goes out, a tiny one, which will fit into a rubber seal in here below a thin rubber lip, which will then prevent dirt from getting in there. But other than that, this all seems pretty familiar. They are the same. I prefer the old spring. I don't know why. It's the same diameter. It is a bit more springy, I would say, but I assume the other one will just work just as fine. We'll see once I build up a wheel with it how this works. The preload tube here, this is difficult to read, 24.6 millimeter long, and this one 24.6 as well. So they're the same. I'm guessing the whole hub shell is unchanged, besides the ratchet mechanism in here. This preload tube has changed with this nice add-in, this ring, or this protection of the bearing, which will stop the spring from rubbing on the bearing. So that's a nice touch. I think this is actually better than my old one that I've used on the wheel set that I've built. Here I have on the left, I unfortunately forgot the audio, the 350 hub. You can see it has two springs. One goes from the top onto the ratchet, one from the bottom. Both bearings are protected by nylon washers, and so that's better than the old Goldix hub that I've built my wheel set with. So that's just interesting note. The splines of the ratchets are compatible, which is good to use a ratchet tool from DT Swiss. So here we are again. This is the hub, and these are the end caps that I've been using. This is not the right order. So these are the through axle end caps, 12 millimeter, and they will turn this into a 142 millimeter, 12 millimeter through axle, 142 millimeter wide, 12 millimeter through axle. And these are the end caps, these two, which will turn this into a 135 millimeter, as you You can tell here, that's, yeah, exactly 135 millimeter quick release axle. Because in my bike, in my current road bike, I only have a rim brake only. I have a rim brake set up, which I wanted to maintain, but I also wanted to have a new wheel set without having to buy a new frame for a through axle or something like that. So I ran these on a carbon wheel set, which has brake tracks for rim brake, but also is usable for disc brakes. And luckily I found a solution for the problem, because the rim brake setups usually have axles which are only 130 millimeters wide. And so I found this end cap, which happens to have exactly the same width in this double labyrinth seal. And so I replaced the one non-drive side quick release with the one that makes this a bit narrower and is now, well, to be fair, it's not 130, it's 131. But I have put it into the frame, and it was just a fit. It just fit perfectly with the 130 with the wheel set that I've used before. It was a DT Swiss one, so I'm assuming it's going to have a proper 130 millimeter long axle, including the end caps. The frame is actually like a millimeter wider, and that the flex of the aluminum frame that I've been using will help dealing with that. So I just did that and I tried it, and it worked out perfectly. So this is why this is my Frankenwheel, because here I have a rim, a hub that I could use to build a wheel that I can use first on a quick release 130 setup with rim brakes, and then now I'm currently in the process of ordering a carbon frame with flat mount disc brakes and through axle, and so I can still use the same wheel set because these hubs, and that's the cool thing about it, you can convert into from quick release to through axle or vice versa. However, and I know what the experts already are thinking, if you change the non-drive side end cap and make it 5 millimeters smaller, that I'm going to have to redish the wheel, and I'm going to do that because I've built this wheel set myself anyways, and I have the tools to do so. I thought it was just a good sort of migration path so that I can go from my old frame with new wheels to a new frame with the wheels that I've already built that I'm quite happy with. Also, I've mentioned earlier that I was worried about cassette bite on the DT Swiss hub, and a nice detail here, as you can see, this has a protector. This is a steel insert that is screwed in here into the free hub body and is supposed to protect the free hub body from cassette bite. I like that. It's quite a neat detail. I think, honestly, if I were to buy a 350 hub from DT Swiss, I would expect these little details that I find in here. Now, what I cannot speak about is the quality of the precision of the build. Like, is the preload proper? Are the bearings good enough? How long will they last? Am I going to have to replace them? So far, a couple thousand kilometers on the wheel set, and everything looks fine. So I'm not concerned with that. However, now I got these end caps here because I bought a new hub, and I tried to buy the end caps by asking Goldix on Aliexpress which ones should I be using. And after sending me around a few links which were not the right end caps, which was very easy to tell was a completely different system, I realized they don't know. And if you buy end caps from Goldix for their hubs, you can find them for the 180 and then from there on the 350 upwards. So you cannot find end caps for the 240, the R240SL on Aliexpress, and by even trying to get Goldix to send it to me anyways, they didn't manage. On top of that, you can also not get a new axle. Well, honestly, I haven't tried, but I assumed that you cannot get a new axle in case the axle is broken. However, considering that this hub costs 70 euros and a replacement axle for a DT Swiss 240 hub would cost you 30 euros, I think just buying a new hub and replacing, where you can then basically replace everything. You have a new free hub body and the bearings inside, if you have to replace them, you cannot reuse, because once you push them out or hammer them out, or if you push them out, you will basically damage the bearings, or at least there's a high risk of doing so. So you don't really want to do that. So you're gonna have to stock the bearings. The schematics on Aliexpress tell you exactly which bearings they are, so you can replace them with the usual DT Swiss ratchet removal tool. Because tiny little detail maybe interesting to tell. Let's mount this thing again and let's see. Because if you remove the ratchet in here, the engagement points, these splines that you can see in here, are screwed in, and the rubber seal on top is just like DT Swiss, is also pressed in. There are special tools from DT Swiss that you can buy that will cost more than a completely new hub, by the way. But if you use the DT Swiss tool, which will fit because we saw that the ratchet splines are compatible, you can unscrew the steel ring inside here. It will push out the rubber lip, the rubber seal, and then you can hammer out the bearings with the axle and then hammer them back in with tools that will fit. You need a proper drift and a proper bearing tool to push in the bearings without damaging them. But that's a completely different story. Let's mount this all back together. I have to say, the way the hubs came, they were pretty dry, especially the ratchets. And I think, honestly, I'm going to get me some special grease from DT Swiss and degrease them and put on new grease. So where was I? Okay. Yes, so you cannot get spare parts. You can get the free hub body extra, which is nice because replacing the bearings on the free hub body is a pain because there's a tube inside. You cannot pull them out because the tube, the preload tube inside, the preload spacer inside prevents you from engaging from behind. You might get away with a blind bearing puller, but I don't know about that. So I was looking for end caps and I bought the new hub. I measured these end caps and then I found from Goldix actually end caps for DT Swiss hubs. Turns out these are the same measurements. You can see there's a slight difference in the way the lever seal is made, but the diameter, I've measured them, the height is exactly the same. The width of this, I think, differs like a tenth of a millimeter, but good news, this not original one does fit in here, and it is it's a nice fit. It works. So I could have just bought these, but there is not only a rear wheel, there's also a front wheel, and the front wheel has different end caps obviously, and I wanted to convert it from quick release to through axle as well, and for that I could not find the proper end caps. and that I find really annoying and unnecessary. So this is the front hub. End caps, this is the new one that I bought. There is no difference whatsoever to the old one, except of course for the end caps. These end caps are the same on both sides. What's really annoying about these is that they are 18 millimeters precisely, and have a lip seal, and I can't find 18 millimeter end caps for this particular axle. The usual diameter 15 millimeter for 12 millimeter through axles, also used for quick releases if you have the proper end caps. These are going to be also, the end caps for quick release are also going to be 18 millimeter, because through axle is 100 millimeter and quick release as well 100 millimeter. So yeah, but I'm probably going to have to buy a new front hub to get me the end caps for through axle. How annoying is that? Just to take out the end cap, put it on the old wheel, on the wheel that I've already built, so that I can run it in quick release. Very annoying that I don't have the reach with this video that I'm making to achieve anything, I guess. Maybe somebody can see this. If anybody sees this, it's 12 millimeter through axle end cap, 18 millimeter long, and the diameter of the lip is 27.8.7, I think. To conclude the video, I would say let's go through the good, the bad, and the ugly. So clearly the hub is pretty cheap. I just saw a special offer for 88.99 euros for front and rear hub. I bought it for 110 roughly. It is pretty lightweight. The new design looks refined, looks good. I like the protection of the seal of the bearings. It looks pretty high quality, and the machining is flawless in every respect. The bad is that the old design is obviously the one that I bought, not optimal. I will keep on riding it and then eventually maybe replace the inner workings with a new hub that I bought, new free hub body and a new preload spacer. And the ugly is that really you cannot get any spare parts other than a conversion kit to convert the free hub body to, for instance, microspline, SRAM, or the other systems. All right, thanks for watching. Drop a like, and that would help. All right, bye-bye.